Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our iRacing AI NASCAR Cup Series career mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. Today it's the middle race of the round of 8. You see the standings. Byron, his second win on the season in the last episode at Las Vegas, locks him into the Final Four as we have a lot of work to do. 35 points below the cut line as we had a speeding penalty at the end of stage 2, which set us way back and we could not recover, unfortunately. But here we are at Homestead Miami Speedway. This is the 1.5 miles that I have had circled on my calendar all season long. This is my favorite track to drive of the 1.5 miles. It's my second favorite track in the NASCAR calendar, right behind Martinsville. So I think we have a very real chance here today to have a good top 5 run all day long and maybe get a good chunk of points, maybe even fight for a first win in the Cup Series. But car was okay in practice, so I was pretty happy with how it drove, and we were now focused in on qualifying here in Miami. And you might notice, look at the mirrors. We got a mirror on the left. We got the actual rear view camera because I got my new PC finally, and now we can finally crank iRacing and Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. Pack racing should no longer present really much of an issue at all. I can confirm, no matter what, Talladega, Daytona, Atlanta, they're all just very demanding in general. So there will still be frame drops, but there won't be anywhere near the amount of frame drops to where it's impacting our performance in the future. So I finally got the new PC. I'm excited. It's been absolutely glorious using it for specifically Formula 1, and now here on iRacing, you see me messing up my qualifying lap. However, this is my second attempt, and we still had a decent first lap that would actually get us into P6. So we qualify P6, as you see on the left side of the screen. Jay Cook, the Charlotte Road Course winner, who's really picked up some heat lately, is on pole position, and that's no better time than to announce the Dodge Motorsports team had a lineup announcement coming into this episode that Jay Cook and Josh Berry, yes, Josh Berry is moving up to the Cup Series, and Jay Cook leaves Colleague to go to that Dodge Motorsports team next season in the number 28 and the number 82. Nice to get that news out of the way for their futures now, and we can focus in on the race. So Jay Cook gets his second opportunity after a terrible rookie season with Colleague, but he won at Charlotte Road Course. He's been running good lately, and here he is starting on pole. You see the stages on the screen. It's the usual for the 1.5 miles, you know, about lap 18, lap 40, then 75 to the end of the race here. Now Jay Cook leads us to the green flag. We are underway. Chase Elliott up here in P3. He needs some help. He's 1 point to the good, so he cannot afford a bad day. Denny Hamlin right behind him, 9 points to the good. Ryan Blaney 17 to the good. Kyle Larson, who's been the championship favorite all season long. He won the regular season championship. Well, he comes into today in that red and white Valvoline Chevrolet Camaro, 10 points below the cut line. Then myself and Ross Chastain, my future trackhouse teammate for next season, in a lot of trouble. 30 points out for Chastain, 35 for me. Chastain had a terrible day in Vegas. I had a terrible final stage in Vegas, and now here you can see myself up on the outside, already making some ground, crashing in the background already, though. The caution is out on the first and opening lap in Miami. Suarez, Priest, and there it is. Ross Chastain, we just talked about how he cannot run into trouble. That might be the nail in the coffin, and here's why. He makes a big error there. I mean, quite simply, ran out of talent and wrecks his teammate Suarez and the 41 of Ryan Priest there. So, Priest, the one-time winner on the season. Same for Chastain. Trackhouse only has one win this season, and that was from Chastain earlier in the season. I don't even remember where it was. It might have been Kansas now, but you see another look at it there. Chastain all on him on that one. Contact with Logano shot him up into Suarez. So a very quick caution, but just as quickly we would get back rolling. Ryan Priest was the only one that actually had to spend a lengthy amount of time in the pit lane. He was still on the pits as we were getting ready to go back racing, but Chastain's got some damage. The odds of him running quickly for the rest of this race is pretty low. The nail in the coffin there, 30 points out coming into this race. He is already now for sure going to be in a must-win scenario going into Martinsville there in the background. Don't know what happened there, but the 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet, Chase Elliott a little bit slow on the restart. Here I am making headway now, and the goal here in stage 1 is to keep the car in one piece. It's pretty straightforward because I want to run the wall. The speed is all the way up on that blue wall up there, but there's a big danger and risk that comes with that, and well, that's pretty obvious, hitting the wall and damaging the car. But you're going to see me get up there, and you're probably going to see me hit the wall because I don't, as a rookie, have any experience running the wall at Homestead Miami, so it's definitely going to be a learning process. Now, I absolutely love that I can use the rear view camera now. Honestly, I like it more than the actual virtual rear view mirror. Let me know what you guys think. Does it look overall better, or should I literally crank the graphics up everywhere? There's so many more frames now. It's absolutely fantastic. I could list my PC specs in the description if I remember. I can put that down there if you guys want to check that out here now. now, as you can see myself trying to make a pass on Cook. So Jay Cook started on pole, just announced the Dodge news, but he's going backwards now in stage 1. We're going forwards. We passed the 16 and the 4 of Harvick now. I know this 21 car, this is a good opportunity for us to get some points here today in Miami. Good points, I should say. Now, as you look through the field, Bowman having a bit of a rough day here. Ross Chastain is moving his way forward. Now he's on the outside of the 14 of Briscoe. Suarez right there, who he wrecked earlier, is with him. The 2 Trackhouse drivers involved in that first lap accident. Priest still getting repairs to that 41. So Priest hasn't had the season he wanted, but obviously he's had a very strong playoff run, just didn't make the playoffs. He got that win at Bristol, and his worst finish at Bristol so far in this Green Mod's what, second. He finished second there in the spring. But coming into the final moments now of stage number 1, he got Truex in front of us. Bubba Wallace, he's been long gone, checked out. He said see you later in that Monster Energy number 23 here, and I'm still running the bottom, but I decided for the final couple laps of the stage, let's get some comfort built up here, running a higher line. So you can see myself moving up, not towards the wall quite yet. You know, I could get really right up against that wall, but didn't really want to push the issue quite yet. But look at this. We would close up to Truex by the time this final lap of stage 1 got underway, but it's not going to be enough to go run him down and pass him before the end of this stage, as we only have one more set of corners to go. But Bubba Wallace has been absolutely on fire in stage 1. He's leading the way out of turn 4. Priest was back on the track. You can see his blue car up there, but Bubba Wallace crosses the line to win stage number 1. Truex, myself, they're the top 3. Other playoff drivers that make it into the top 10 is Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney as well, Chase Elliott, and did I say Denny Hamlin? I can't remember, but Larson being the best other than myself. Bubba Wallace not in the playoffs. We would see some split strategy. Brad Keselowski and his RFK teammate come into the pits, and a whole group of cars at the back of the field. However, track position felt really important here in Miami compared to other mile and a half, so I wasn't too worried about staying out on track. So this would set myself up P3 for the restart here as we get back underway once again down towards turn 1. This stage comes to the end at the end of lap 40, as we're going to be side by side with the 19 of Truex. He cuts over on me actually into turn 1. We get sideways. We make a heck of a save right there, but that 19 car, what in the world were you doing right there, Martin? We save it and, you know, get it back going and get it collected pretty quickly. And fortunately, we don't really lose too much time out of that now, as you got the 16 of Cook actually back into the mix here. Kyle Larson, Harvick in the background, the 11 of Hamlin, the 24 of Byron as well now, as they are all in need of good runs, especially Larson, who's 10 points below the cut line. Byron in the 24, he's already got that win in the last episode, so he won earlier in the season at Auto Club Speedway, and he went winless all the way until last episode in Las Vegas, where he showed up and put up a heck of a run, managed to win the race, and now he's locked into that Final Four to compete for his first ever NASCAR Cup Series Championship at Phoenix. In a few episodes time, big sideways out of turn 2. The car was driving quite a bit different compared to stage 1 on these older tires. The car was getting really loose on the inside line. I was really quickly trying to find a way to get up to the outside, and I would clear the 5 of Larson and do exactly that. Now watch what happens when we get to the top. Look at the run on the 16 of Jay Cook now, and we would just continue going up to this outside and just trying to make some headway now to the outside of Truex. Hopefully it would be the goal on the exit of turn 2, and that would also turn into a reality. Here we are making the pass on the 19. Up into second place we go. So we take those down into turn 3 into second place with this number 21 Wood Brothers Ford Mustang. Still 99 wins for this Wood Brothers team. We are trying to get them their 100th win. We're running out of time, but it certainly looks like today we've brought some good pace and have an opportunity to do that. But it's going to have to be, you know, running down that 23 Bubba Wallace and passing him, because that 23 was on another level. Look at him. He is just checking out at this point now. 1.2 seconds up the road as we were coming up on the final half of stage number 2, and I realized really quickly it's going to be very difficult to run down that 23. 1.4 seconds now, a little bit later, as you can actually see myself for the first time get into the outside wall in 3 and 4, and that's going to cost us a bunch of time. Here goes to the inside, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., so a big mistake for myself right there, and now we have to fight back on this outside line against that Bass Pro Shops Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota Camry. Fortunately, the outside line being so OP, I can just really get the ball rolling here on the outside, and we should be able to fight, yes, alongside Truex and pass him right back. So we stay in second place, and we come through to now a few moments later, lap 32. You can see myself, after hitting the wall, I wanted to go back down the track a little bit, but then after getting back down to the inside, the car kept snapping loose again. So as you can imagine, it was time to go back up to the outside. I tried it again another lap later, and it was just really loose. And I even did it one more time, and look at this. Every time I go to the inside, this car's slipping and sliding around as Bubba Wallace is continuing to drive away. So I go back up to the outside, but once I do that, I make another mistake. I go into the outside wall again, this time way longer, and that's going to bring the 24 right up to my rear bumper. Quarter panel now side by side, and there it goes up the inside, completing the pass. So not what I was looking for there. I mean, just a lot of mistakes, and the inside is just way too treacherous for this car. As these tires age, I get looser and looser down there, but the outside comes with, of course, that risk of being an idiot. So here I am fighting back with that momentum, though, down the backstretch, and once again, clear of the 24 of William Byron, and then I would finally calm things down and be able to settle in as we came through to the final lap of stage number 2, and Bubba Wallace was 4 seconds up the road. We have a fast car in the 21, but not as fast as the 23. We're going to need something to go wrong with that 23 today, I think, because he is on another level. Bubba Wallace wins stage number 2. He sweeps the first 2 stages. We cross the line for second. Byron Larson to follow as well. A few playoff drivers like Hamlin, Ryan Blaney as well. Chase Elliott outside of the top 10. So not what he needs in this current situation where he's not safe on points. Everybody at the end of stage 2 is headed into the pit lane here. So 4 tires and feel is what it was going to be. I actually decided not to make any adjustments because I wasn't comfortable making an adjustment, because it felt like it was a little bit too tight on the top but a little bit too loose on the bottom, so I didn't really quite know what to do in this situation. We actually lose a spot in the pit lane. The 24 Byron was on it, got up to second behind that 23 of Bubba Wallace here, as we're going to get ready to go back racing now. The 23, the 24, the front row, you got myself and Blaney, my alliance teammate, on row number 2. We're going to creep up on the back of that 23. A great launch from myself, not a great launch from the 24. We're up in a second place, and after what we saw in stage 1 and stage 2, I think passing Bubba Wallace as early as possible could be crucial. If we can't get a pass completed on this 23 within 5 laps, I think it's going to be very hard to beat that 2311 driver as you head down this back straightaway. Kurt Busch is the only 2311 driver to win this season. He's got 2 wins, Bristol and Watkins Glen. And now here he is, Bubba Wallace, trying to pull off his first win of the season. Kurt Busch in his final few races of his NASCAR Cup Series career, let's not forget, he got eliminated early in the playoffs. It wasn't the playoff he had wanted, but he is retiring at the end of this season to make way for Tyler Reddick for next season here. As we're up the inside, though, of Bubba into turn 1, trying to complete this pass. We got the momentum through 1 and 2 on the exit of the corner. Just can't quite get clear because I got loose a little bit right there and had to back out of it. Now that 23 pushes ahead, and there goes the 19 of Truex to follow through as well as we head down into turn 3. So back down to 3rd place, and then back to the turn 1 outside line here, down into lap 47 as we've got that underway. You can see myself just trying to get this car to really hook up and go, but it plows into the outside wall. So now here comes a 6 of Brad Keselowski. Didn't even know he was running in the top 25, to be honest with you, but he passes me, and then in turn 3 and 4 it does the same thing. It plows again. So what's going on with this car? I didn't touch it on the pits, no adjustments, but all of a sudden it was plowing, but fortunately it would resolve very quickly, and I got to the outside, got it gripped up, got it back going. We passed a 6, a huge run on the 19 of Truex, but look at it in the distance. The 23 of Bubba Wallace is already checked out and saying see you later with 26 laps to go. I don't know where that speed has come from in that 23, but they are on another level here today under the very nice clear skies and sunny day here in Homestead, Miami. I was trying my best to clear the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. as quickly as I could, and here's the opportunity to go past him on the outside now, because I do think that if we can run this outside well enough, we can get to that 23 of Bubba Wallace. Now, pay attention to the bottom right of your screen. 1.1 seconds is Bubba Wallace's gap on myself right now. We crossed the line this time by it's 1.1 seconds. It's going to be 1.1 seconds. Another lap later, we cross the line. Instead of 1.1 seconds, it's going to be 1.2 seconds. Okay, that's not what we were looking for either. Hold on now. As we head down into turn 1, I need to get a little bit quicker, apparently. I thought the gap was going to go down, not the other way. So, not the couple of laps I was looking for, but we commit to this outside, and 1.2 now down to 1.1 again. So we gain a 10th back, and then actually I get into the outside wall with 20 to go. So what was looking very promising for about a lap ended up getting thrown away. So Truex closes back in as now I'm trying to get myself back out in front and ahead of him, but now through the grid we would comfortably stay ahead of that 19 briefly. Now Larson, a few laps later, actually gets past Martin Truex Jr. All the authentic Homestead Miami 2022 paint schemes on track right now with this collection, thanks to Davis Warren, who's been making all these collections you've been seeing throughout the last half of this season at least. A massive shout out to him. It's been fantastic having his assistance, and he might be making me a few for next season, but it'll be a bit of a different aspect. But you can check out Davis, of course, on Trading Paints. Check out his social media. He's selling tickets to select races, which are in the description always, and you can contact him if you would like tickets as well. Now as we head down into turn 1, that gap to Bubba Wallace, now 1.6 seconds after everything was said and done, after hitting the wall and going through the little late race update. But then look at this, 1.4 seconds. The gap again closing. Next time around, 1.3 seconds. There's another 1/10 of a second. Are we finally finding the speed to go run down this 23? It might not be game over yet. We now come through 3 and 4 though, and there you see myself getting sliding all around right there as we head down this run straight away. We collect it, but we lose the time because of that. So it was back up to nearly a second and a half, and now I'm starting to struggle with the handling again with 12 laps to go, and we cross the line, and now the gap was increasing every lap. 1.5, 1.6, now 1.7 with 9 laps to go. And at this point I'm realizing now it's not looking so good, but I keep committing until I commit too much. 9 laps to go into the outside wall through 3 and 4, and we basically rode half the corner on the wall, almost Ross Chastain style, just not voluntarily, and that opens up the gap to nearly 3 seconds to Bubba Wallace. So that is the nail in the coffin there. Without a caution, we're not going to get there, but it got worse. I'm just all over the place all of a sudden. The car just sucked. I got into the wall again. Now I'm slipping and sliding. Here comes Kyle Larson. I'm big time sideways out of turn 4. We make a huge save. Larson goes by for second. Truex is going to follow through in third. Cook for fourth, and Byron just behind myself settles in currently now for that position. But I mean, so disappointing to have the car just kind of flip a switch late in this race, but it wasn't over yet. Here we are running P5, but look at the 6 to go. Look at this thing. Even running on the outside to be more comfortable because the car was a demon on the inside, but even on the outside it was slipping and sliding all over the place, and you can see myself struggling so hard here out of 4, coming to 4 to go. Byron around the outside, Kozlowski up the inside. That's going to drop us now down to P7, and we are losing crucial points in this playoff battle, but we were looking so good. And I guess, quite simply, I pushed too hard trying to run down that 23, and I hit the wall one too many times, and that's all it took. So now we're just kind of riding in P7, coming to the final lap, and actually getting in the wall pretty good on the exit of turn 4. It's just one of those endings that we were not looking for. At the end of the day, P7, a great result here if we get P7, but still could have been better. I shouldn't have pushed as hard as I did, I guess, and you can still see, I mean, I am slipping and sliding everywhere. This car is in handful into the outside wall again. We save it, and thankfully have a big gap on Ryan Blaney. Bubba Wallace, though, dominates the race from start to finish, sweeps every stage. For the first time this season, he will win in the NASCAR Cup Series in the number 23. Both 2311 cars visit victory lane this season. I was slipping and sliding again at a turn 4, but fortunately I crossed the line, still P7, but a really disappointing ending here to our day, to say the least, as you got Blaney, Senos actually in the top 10, and so is Kevin Harvick now as we bring it into the pits for a wrap, and well, for a crucial points update now. As we entered this race, 35 points below the cut line. We actually gained points, which is not surprising considering how good of a run we had, but we're still 25 points below the cut line. So yeah, we have a lot of work to do, to say the least. Chastain's 42 out, Blaney 31, Hamlin 20, Larson's in by 17 because Chase Elliott actually had a pretty rough result and was down in like, what, 19th, you can see on the left side. Logano as well with a rough result. So it's going to get really interesting in Martinsville, but Larson gets back in, Elliott out after that, so it's going to get really, really interesting as Larson got way more stage points than Elliott and had a finish of like 16 spots better, so it's not surprising to see that. But I don't have any Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm still getting that on my new PC, but it will be in the next episode, I can confirm. That's going to wrap it up for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.